Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to the 7th SolStreet block party. We do these monthly calls to touch base every month and update you as a community member on the progress that SolStreet has made. Today's big topics are refocusing, what does it mean, the new roadmap, launch coming, decentralized governance, and open sourcing the protocol. To kick us off, we have our CEO, Hein. Hein, take it away.
Everyone. The initial core team set out to create a protocol where each of its components are integrated with the other in a coherent way. In this way, SolStreet's light paper speaks about the SolStreet platform and the STRT Token, but importantly, it speaks to how the STRT Token functions in relation to the protocol. From these utility principles come things like fee discounts and performance mining. But in the same way, the team was not content to make the Wolfie NFT collection be just a JPEG. Instead, the team designed Wolfies to have utility on the platform itself with aspects like fee discounts, as well as to have utility in relation to the STRT Token with things like the token hunt. It is ambitious for the project to make everything both integrated and coherent, but the trade-off against that ambition is always some technical complexity, and often a kind of chicken and egg scenario. As much as the team would like to see every item on the roadmap created and deployed simultaneously, the practicalities dictate that they must be sequenced. One example of just such a debate the team has been having about sequence is around Wolfies and the STRT Token hunt utility. On the one hand, the team still believes that Wolfies should contribute a great deal of value to the SolStreet protocol and the STRT Token by building the SolStreet culture and community, and in terms of representing the protocol's values. But on the other hand, it's all fine and well for any given Wolfie to be eligible to receive STRT if certain criteria are met, but what value does that give to Wolfies if STRT does not yet exist? We don't know, for instance, how adversely it may affect the value of Wolfies if there is a month between the Wolfie launch and the STRT launch. How adverse would it be if there were 3 months between the two launches? If there is such an adverse effect on the value of Wolfies, will it be recovered after the STRT launch or remain lost? And so these are the kind of questions that we have to grapple with. But really all of the questions about roadmap items and their sequence really come down to one question, which is, when you think about SolStreet or when you describe it to your friends, do you describe it as having a certain feature or a certain product component, or do you describe it as a decentralized and non-custodial asset management protocol built on Solana? When the team considers that question, and regardless of any other features or product components, it is apparent that we have delivered most of the core vision of the SolStreet platform, but that decentralization is what requires focus at this stage. Based on that, the team landed in favor of the roadmap sequence as published this week. Essentially, the team is underlining what we consider to be the non-negotiables for SolStreet. As Nav has mentioned, it's the protocol native token launch or the STRT Token launch, decentralized governance, and open sourcing the protocol. The STRT Token is ultimately the flywheel of incentive to get the protocol going, and so it is essential to get going with that. Perhaps more importantly, it's also an essential element of the governance system through which the community can participate in important debates and decisions on the protocol, and without which the protocol cannot decentralize. Open sourcing is key to enabling the community at large to actively contribute to the protocol itself. Everything else, in the team's view, is secondary to those 3 non-negotiables. The way we see it, those 3 non-negotiables are pillars on which SolStreet must stand, and without which other products and features cannot really be sustainable. You might ask the question, do we want to grow the size of the community that participates in this vision? Sure, we'd love to. But what this team cares about more is growing the involvement of the existing community. And we think of decentralization as exactly the process of bringing you, the community, closer. And that's really why it sits at the center of this refocusing. And with that, back to you, Nab.
Perfect. Thanks, Hein. Yeah, so with the refocus in mind, we are putting a lot of emphasis on product. And to give you more detail into the product undergoings we'll be taking over the next months, we have our lead of product, Alexis. Alexis, I hand over to you.
Hey everyone. Welcome to this 7th block party. So to reiterate what Hein was saying is, this is just a big reshuffling of priorities and something that we believe makes a lot more sense to achieve the ideal end goal of a decentralized asset management protocol that's governed by a DAO. So there are a few key headline deliverables that we're going to be focusing on, and the first would be to create a token that would allow us to then set up a DAO that then governs the protocol updates. So we have started doing internal testing on the DAO, and we're more than likely going to go with the Realms DAO, which has been built and maintained by Solana core devs, as well as a bunch of open source contributors, and we're very excited to be starting to work with that. And that's something that we're also going to reach out to some community testers to maybe get involved with that testing, and we'll keep people updated as we develop that, and that will then enable us to then put these protocol improvements out to the community to vote on and to decide on priorities, as well as giving you and the community the power to put forward proposals on the way that we go with our roadmap going forwards, and to get involved on the governance side of the protocol. And this is a very big focus that we've been building towards since day one. So it's very exciting that we can actually start delivering on that, and that will then give a lot more ownership to the community when it comes to decisions on which way we move with the protocol forwards, and ways to get involved. And that would then allow us to then set up a community treasury, allocate our tokens towards that, and move forwards in a decentralized manner. And then off the back of a token which allows for voting power within the DAO, and the DAO that then controls the update of the protocol, we can then start going down the road of open sourcing, which is also a very big item, and something that we're also very keen on getting out there. And these items we've already started working on them, and we'll continuously be updating as we make progress on them on a weekly basis. So if there's anybody who knows a lot about these things or is keen to get involved, please reach out to the team. We're always happy to take input on this, and we're very excited about how this is going to then increase the ability for the community to get involved with the core development of the protocol. That's about the reshuffling, and the sort of the next steps on delivering on that ideal vision of a decentralized asset management protocol. Over to you, Nabs.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexis. Very much looking forward to the road ahead. To give us more of an idea of how we'll be marketing the road ahead and how our priorities have shifted in regards to marketing, that'd be Geoff. So Geoff, hand over to you.
Thanks, Nab, and hey everyone. Cool. So it was a difficult decision, the one we took to put Wolfies on hold. And in the moment, somewhat ironically, the main driver of that decision, as you guys will know from the announcement, was not actually this priority reshuffle, but very quickly in the days that followed, this kind of strategic realization dawned on us. And so we wanted to go ahead as much as anyone did, but what feels like one step backwards here, I'm now very confident represents, in the kind of medium term, the opportunity to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 steps forward. So I feel a high degree of conviction that Wolfies are on hold for the right reason. And it's important just to remember, practically speaking, that the whole genesis of the NFT collection idea was, the genesis point was, how can this be of value to the protocol? And in as much as it helps build our community and our loyalty and our user base and our product, make it more interesting and attractive to the world. And so, fundamentally, whatever helps SolStreet as a protocol will also help Wolfies, and vice versa. So that kind of inextricable link is something that's vital to have front of mind all the time. But with that in mind, we also put a lot of work into building the hype towards Wolfies, and we don't want to let that dissipate entirely. It's been a few weeks since the postponement, but and so things are significantly quieter now than they were then, which we all would have anticipated. But there are a whole lot of new people within our Discord server and on the protocol and interacting on Twitter who weren't around before. And some of those people are on this call right now. Some of them are in our games sessions on a Friday. Some of them are part of difficult discussions around ROI measurement on our investor channels. And so all of that, there's still the opportunity to sustain the momentum in that way, keep the energy up. And ultimately, the louder we are as a wolf pack before we formally exist through Wolfies, the louder we will be with them when the time comes. So these milestones, again, tying back to the idea of how they link to Wolfies and how they link to our sort of agenda of growing awareness of and usage of SolStreet, is these are things to get really, really excited about. I think Hein kind of, from a strategic perspective, explained these quite nicely. Alexis broke them down quite practically. Having a token, being community governed, having an open source protocol, these are things that the right sort of folks within the Solana community value incredibly highly, and that are worthy of a huge amount of interest. And so, especially during this kind of semi-prolonged bear market that we're in now, these are things to be incredibly proud of, and they're things about which we want to make a lot of noise. And will, when the time comes for Wolfies, also be part of the foundation for Wolfies feeling like a compelling value proposition. So yeah, the plan for the next month is to be as transparent and specific as we can around our progress towards those milestones, and then of course celebrate as loudly as possible when we do get to each of the checkpoints along the way. And to help tie those dots together and fill the spaces in between, something that we began doing more and more in the build up to Wolfies, which we now intend to continue doing, is just hosting Twitter spaces with other protocols, with other project founders, with other interesting folks within the space. Principally those who kind of exist in this same realm as ours, which is kind of DeFi, a little bit spilling over into NFTs as much as they relate back to DeFi, but kind of just things that are in proximity of SolStreet as a concept. And Alexis and I mostly, but some of the other folks on the team as well at different times. We'll be inviting people to come onto these Twitter spaces and have just discussions around their products, around ours, around what it's like operating in the space, around how, lessons people are learning as they go, around the future and where they're going. And that's as much as about kind of feeding our own curiosity and interest, as it is about reaching into new pockets of people, new communities that are built around other protocols and other projects, to introduce them to SolStreet. Because the more robust our product becomes and the more impressive the protocol grows through these milestones as we achieve them, the more the focus needs to shift towards just spreading the word and showing people the value that lies within SolStreet and getting them to come and give it a try. So these conversations will ultimately be a way to build relationships and generate interest from new groups of people where there's kind of an existing alignment of what they're interested in at their other projects. So look out for those. And also, if you are someone who fits that bracket, or if you have connections to people that fit that sort of bracket, then shoot us, named Twitter bios, ideas about what you'd like to hear, who you'd like to hear us chat to, and we would very, very gladly indulge those requests to the extent that we can. And of course, the simplest way to support all of those initiatives is just being there for those conversations, listening in, recordings when you can't make it, and all of what goes on within SolStreet's universe. It is underpinned by just this ongoing personal journey that each of us are on, of learning, of following our curiosity into different rabbit holes, of better understanding how all of this fits together, and setting ourselves up to continue to be a part of this unfolding magical journey of Web3 and DeFi that we're all on together. So yeah, join for the ride, and we're looking forward to celebrating some of these milestones as we go.
Yeah, thank you, Geoff. Really looking forward to those Twitter spaces coming up. As you said, Web3 is all about collaboration, and we've been thankful to welcome so many awesome communities to SolStreet recently. The ATCC community, Monk DAO, Kets, Hubble, and many more. It's all the knowledge in Web3 coming together to build us all up together. That's what it's all about. With everything going on, it's lucky for us that we have a content specialist as top tier, elite tier as Pat. And to get all of Pat's top tier content, he'll explain everything that comes, weekly mailer, monthly, all the good stuff. Pat, please take it away.
Thanks, Enab. Thanks, guys. Fortunately, I get to be a part of the top tier elite group of operators. So yeah, I'm really the lucky, blessed one there. What a team. But yeah, on the topic of these new milestones and our vision of a DeFi asset management protocol now back in focus, it will become increasingly essential that you're kept in the loop. So as Nab said, with me being a protocol content specialist, I'll be working to make sure that you have all of the info you need to keep on top of things on the weekly and the monthly. So here's a quick reminder of how everyone on here can find themselves in the know. Our weekly mailer drops at the same time every Friday, 4:30 UTC. In it, Nav and I fill you in on all of the significant changes our team worked on and implemented, as well as all of the protocol bugs and issues our team flattened out. Many of these updates you'll also be able to find in our announcement and changelog channels, so be sure to keep an eye out there for more frequent ones. As you know, we obviously host a SolStreet Block Party community call on a monthly basis, and if you're looking for a solid primer, be sure to read our monthly roundup. The roundup drops on the first Friday of the new month, and in it you'll have a deep dive into all of the changes and exciting updates we've made to our platform. As was the case with the last one, the roundup's been a great place to find more information on Wolfies, and moving forward, additional information on what's happened in the month with regard to SolStreet's Roadmap 2.0. DeFi, NFTs, and more generally the whole of the Solana ecosystem often move at a difficult to keep track of pace. So I've got you all covered with an ecosystem news summary, which includes a roundup of interesting articles, details on recently completed funding rounds. We've got some memes in there, a section featuring new protocols and projects. There's a little bit of something for everyone, and you can receive it to your inbox every Thursday at 5:30 UTC. We've also, of course, got that dedicated SolStreet Journal channel where you can share your thoughts, your questions, your hot takes on what's happening around us. But yeah, for all of the month's past editions, I'd love to wrap them up at the end of the month. So if you're not yet a follower of the mailer, take a look and consider subscribing. Again, it's all there in the channel. SolStreeters, go ahead and follow our awesome Medium blog and YouTube channel, and keep an eye out for future updates on our website's blog page. I see that there's Samesh. Take a deep breath. I will do. As always, everybody, thank you to our community members, to all of our subscribers, our supporters. I promise we see you. And so, Nab, on that note, I'll hand it back over to you to just chat through some more of our community building efforts.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. I'm trying to emulate your voice a little bit, but impossible. Cool. Along with all the new eyes on SolStreet this past couple months and the seasoned SolStreeters, the protocol feedback on our alpha product has been invaluable in helping us improve and constantly make updates and fixes that make the product better for you to use and just all around better for everyone. So thanks again. Really appreciate the feedback on the product. Also really appreciate the feedback on requested activities. Looking forward to hosting a SolStreet Poker Night soon, so keep your eyes out on the game's announcements for more on that, and make sure you have your gamer role in Get Your Role so that you don't miss out.